It is Super Tuesday. Ohio and 9 other states are holding primary elections today. Good evening. I'm Danita Harris.
And I'm Lee Jordan. Ohio is key to the hopes of the GOP candidates running for president. For Mitt Romney, a strong performance would give him the momentum he needs to seal the deal.
Rick Santorum, Newt Gingrich, and Ron Paul are doing everything they can to prevent that.
Polls are still open across the state until 7:30. Voting so far is said to be lighter than in years past for a presidential primary. Still, voters we talked to felt it was important to cast a ballot.
Even though it's a primary, who gets chosen in the primary is going to have such a major effect on the general election.
The younger people that are under 18 or that are 18, as long as they get to see people my age come out and vote, I think that'll inspire them.
Well, the primary elections with all this redistricting and everything, I think it's important to vote in the primaries. Very important. A lot of issues.
After all, we have to face 4 years and under whatever administration is elected, and so I wanted to make sure that my voice was heard today.
I just think it's very important, for the future of the kids.
Voters having their say today. We have team coverage tonight of Ohio's primary from News Channel 5's John Kosick and Paul Kiska. First of all, John, we've talked about this before, but Ohio really is an important state in the race for the White House.
I tell you, Lee, we got 10 states voting today, 424 delegates in all at stake, but really it is about Ohio. We are the crown jewel. If Mitt Romney is able to pull this off, he can say to the GOP establishment, look, I'm the guy. Time to fall in line, get behind me, and present me as the nominee to the nation as a whole. If Santorum is able to pull this off, though, he is able to say, look, you can't win the White House if you can't win Ohio in the general election, then how are you going to win it in the primary? If you can't win it in the primary. Now, the thing to keep in mind is Romney has two things in his favor, two M's, math and momentum. He's coming off wins last week in Michigan and Arizona. And even if he loses Ohio in a close race, he could still end up with more delegates in the state because of Santorum's failure to get a delegate slate on the ballot in 3 of the 16 congressional districts. Beyond all that, both camps know that if your message resonates here in Ohio now, it will resonate in Middle America in the fall.
Ohio is such an important state because it really gives us a snapshot of the entire nation. We have industrial economy in this state. We have agriculture. It's a Midwest state, but it also backs up to the south. So very important to see how Super Tuesday shakes out.
And the thing to keep in mind that while Rick Santorum possibly could do well in Ohio, Mitt Romney, even if he loses, could still end up with more of the delegates, as we mentioned here. Newt Gingrich will do well in Georgia, but Mitt Romney will get a lot of good delegates down there. And Tennessee is a toss-up. But again, Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum will not likely come out of today with more delegates than Mitt Romney, which puts him a step closer to that nomination. And while he cannot wrap up the nomination for some time to come, no other candidate can do it on their own. So right now it's Mitt Romney's to lose all of this. We're going to continue to follow this race closely throughout the rest of the evening here on Newsnet 5 and News Channel 5. Lee?
All right, thank you very much, John. Well, another hotly contested race, the 9th District congressional race that pushed together Democratic House members Marcy Kaptur and Dennis Kucinich under redistricting. News Channel 5's Paul Kiska joins us from Kucinich headquarters tonight. And Paul, one of these veteran Congress members will lose their job tonight.
Well, no doubt about it, Anita. Kucinich has been in Congress 15 years, Marcy Kaptur for 30 years. This is a big battle in the Buckeye State tonight. They used to get along, these Democratic colleagues. Now they are going head-to-head tonight. The Democratic frontrunners, Kucinich versus Kaptur, and the newcomers. It's win or go home, as you said. The newly drawn 9th District has pitted Kaptur against Kucinich and several of those newcomers. Kucinich, who voted earlier today, is counting on his home base here in the Cleveland and Lakewood area. But the new 9th, well, that takes about 47% of Kaptur's Toledo area district and leaves Kucinich with just 40% of his district. Now, down the campaign stretch, the campaign ads have gotten a bit nastier between Kaptur and Kucinich. Newcomer Graham Veazey also in the race, trying to take some votes from those two Democrats. For the Republicans, it's Sam Joe the Plumber Wurzelbacher from Toledo going up against Steve Krause for the Republicans. We're live at Ruben's Restaurant here on Lorraine Avenue on Cleveland's west side, one of Dennis Kucinich's favorite places. This is where he'll be hanging out, watching the results on election night. We'll have live reports later on as well. Live in Cleveland tonight, Paul Kiska, News Channel 5, Lee and Anita, back to you.
All right, thank you, Paul. And coming up in our next half hour, we'll talk more about this race with our Democratic political analyst, Peter Lawson-Jones, a former Cuyahoga County commissioner. We'll also have more on the Republican race for the White House in our next half hour. We'll go live to Columbus, Ohio, where CNN's Tori Dunnan is covering the most important day so far in the GOP presidential race.
For complete election results, keep it tuned to News Channel 5 this evening. We'll be scrolling results at the bottom of your screen, plus log on to newsnet5.com for a live election webcast starting at 9 o'clock, and we'll have the latest on where the races stand on News Channel 5 at 11.